Welcome back, adventurers, to the Dangers and Dragons podcast, your daily fix of addictive stories, epic quests, and legendary adventures. I'm Adrian, your guide through these twisting tales.
And I'm Julia, here to spin yarns of magic, mystery, and characters who defy the ordinary.
And today's story is a real doozy. It features a master illusionist who uses his talents to protect the innocent, not for fame or fortune, but for something far more noble.
Yes, his name is Leo. Think of him as a stage magician, but instead of pulling rabbits out of hats, he's manipulating reality itself to prevent crimes.
Okay, hold on. Illusion is a shield for others. How does that even work?
Well, imagine a thief about to swipe a purse. Suddenly, their attention is diverted by an illusion of sparkling jewels scattered nearby, or perhaps a group of menacing figures emerging from the shadows.
So it's not actual magic, but the art of misdirection, like a master showman playing with our perceptions.
Precisely. He's a master of stagecraft. He uses his knowledge of human behavior, perception, and psychology to create these diversions. He's basically a walking optical illusion with a conscience.
This Leo sounds like a true hero working from the shadows. But even heroes face challenges. What throws a wrench into his good deeds?
The conflict arises when Leo finds himself framed for a crime. And guess what? The evidence is fabricated using his signature illusions. It's like the tools he uses for good are turned against him.
Whoa, talk about a cruel twist of fate. From protector to suspect overnight. How does he handle this?
He's imprisoned, trapped in a stark, cold cell. His stage may have shrunk to 4 walls, but his craft remains. Now, instead of performing for applause, his every action, every subtle gesture becomes a performance for survival.
So he's still using his skills, but now it's a matter of outsmarting his captors.
Exactly. He subtly manipulates his environment and the guards not to a skill, at least not yet, but to create an air of uncertainty. Think of it as planting seeds of doubt, ensuring the detective investigating his case senses. There's more to this than meets the eye.
Sounds like a high-stakes game of mental chess. What happens when he goes to trial?
The trial becomes a spectacle in itself. It's a stage where the evidence presented against Leo is as meticulously crafted as one of his illusions.
But there's the detective, right? The one who seems to suspect there's something off about this whole situation.
You got it. The detective keeps noticing these inconsistencies, these subtle hints that suggest Leo's innocence. But even with his suspicions, the fabricated evidence seems irrefutable.
So what's the verdict? Does justice prevail?
Unfortunately, no. Leo was found guilty and sentenced to transport to an island prison infamous for its impenetrability. It's a place where even the most cunning criminals meet their end.
An island prison. This sounds like the perfect setup for an elaborate escape. I bet Leo has a few tricks up his sleeve. But how do you escape an island surrounded by water, constantly watched by guards who know you're a master of illusion?
Well, that's the captivating part. Leo, despite the dire circumstances, remains calm, almost as if he's orchestrated this predicament himself. And then things start to get weird. The sea itself seems to react to his presence, and this unnatural fog rolls in, shrouding the island in an eerie silence.
Wait, the sea responding to him? Fog moving with a purpose? This is getting spooky. What are the guards making of all this?
The guards, overconfident and dismissive, fail to notice these subtle, unnatural shifts. They just brush it off as strange weather.
Oh boy, they have no idea what they're dealing with. So tell me, how does Leo pull off this impossible escape?
Imagine this. The island itself, the prison that held him captive, starts to transform. It dissolves into a swirling spectacle of light and sound, leaving the guards in shock and those who believed him guilty utterly bewildered.
He made the entire island disappear. That's beyond any magic trick I've ever heard of. But where did he go? Did he actually escape, or is this just another layer of some grand plan?
That's the genius of it. The escape wasn't about disappearing. It was a carefully orchestrated performance, the grand finale of a much larger illusion meant to expose the real culprit.
You're telling me the island vanishing, the strange fog, the sea acting up, it was all part of a giant act? And was there an audience for all of this?
There was indeed. The detective was there, front and center, witnessing it all. And as the island fades away, what's revealed isn't a fleeing convict, but a stage meticulously constructed with every detail painstakingly placed.
This is incredible. He turned his trial into his greatest performance. What was on this stage? What was the big reveal?
On that stage was the answer to the entire mystery. A recreation of the crime scene with every stolen item perfectly placed, just like the evidence used to convict him. But this time, the illusion wasn't meant to deceive. It was meant to reveal the true criminal's identity, their methods, and their deception.
Wow, what a power move. He didn't just escape, he turned the tables on everyone, proving his innocence and exposing the real villain in one grand act. What was the detective's reaction to all of this? I imagine he was speechless.
The detective was struck with admiration, not anger. He recognized the brilliance behind Leo's grand illusion, how masterfully he'd been manipulated.
I bet that was a humbling realization for the detective. So after this big reveal, what happens to Leo? Does he walk free?
That's where the story takes another interesting turn.
Welcome back to the Dangers and Dragons podcast, where the stories are as unpredictable as a roll of the dice.
And we're rolling right along with the tale of Leo the Illusionist, who turned deception into an art form, a weapon against injustice.
We left off with Leo vanishing after that stunning reveal on that island stage, the true criminal exposed, and the detective left in awe.
It was a powerful moment, a revelation that shattered the carefully constructed facade and exposed the hidden workings behind Leo's framing.
So what happens next? Does Leo soak up the applause, finally recognized as the hero he is? Or does he fade back into the shadows' content, knowing justice was served?
That's the intriguing thing about Leo. He isn't motivated by fame or recognition. He's a protector, a silent guardian, a master of secrets. For him, the satisfaction comes from ensuring the safety of the innocent and exposing the guilty.
But he just walks away, leaving the city buzzing with rumors about the mysterious illusionist.
Exactly. He becomes an urban legend, a whisper in the wind, a tale told in hushed tones. Some might even dismiss him as a figment of their imagination, a trick of the light.
But he's out there, right? Watching, protecting, ready to step in when needed.
That's the open question that lingers. Is he truly gone? Or is he waiting for the right moment to resurface his illusions, poised to challenge those who threaten the balance?
I like to believe he's still out there, a silent guardian ready to use his unique skills for good. But what about the detective, the one who finally saw through the deception? Where does he fit into all of this?
The detective, now understanding the depths of Leo's abilities and his commitment to justice, is left with a newfound respect. He sees the artistry, the genius, and the deep-seated morality driving Leo's actions.
I'd imagine he feels a bit sheepish for ever doubting Leo.
Perhaps. But more importantly, he learns a valuable lesson about perception, about the power of illusion to both deceive and reveal truth. He now understands that extraordinary feats can be accomplished not just through force, but through the subtle manipulation of perception.
That's quite a revelation. So after this grand finale, what becomes of Leo? Does he finally receive the recognition he deserves, or does he remain an enigma, his true identity a secret?
Well, that's where things get really interesting. Remember, Leo is driven by a deep sense of justice. He was framed, his reputation tarnished, and someone out there is using his methods for evil. He can't just let that stand.
You're right. He's not the type to just walk away. He's got to set things right.
And that's exactly what he does. Instead of disappearing, Leo chooses to become the hunter. He uses his skills to track down the real culprit, the one who orchestrated his downfall.
This is getting good. So the city becomes his new stage.
Absolutely. Every shadow, every alleyway, a potential hiding place for his prey. He's a phantom, always present, but never truly seen manipulating perceptions and setting traps.
It's like a game of cat and mouse, but with smoke and mirrors.
A perfect analogy. And remember, the detective, well, their paths cross again, but this time it's not as adversaries.
Wait, so the detective, after being outsmarted, decides to team up with the illusionist. What caused this change of heart?
The detective witnessed firsthand the lengths Leo went to in order to prove his innocence. He saw the brilliance and the underlying desire for justice. He realized that Leo, despite his methods, was a force for good.
So they form an unlikely alliance, the detective with his logic and Leo with his illusions. What an incredible pairing. How does this partnership work?
It's an intriguing dynamic. The detective provides resources and authority, while Leo brings his mastery of deception and his ability to see what others miss. Together, they weave a web around the true culprit, closing in slowly but surely.
This sounds intense. So how does their pursuit of justice culminate? Do they catch the bad guy? Does Leo finally clear his name?
The climax of this tale is as dramatic and unexpected as you might imagine. Picture a grand ballroom filled with the city's elite, unaware they're about to become players in Leo's final act.
Welcome back to the Dangers and Dragons podcast, where the stories never truly end and the twists keep you on the edge of your seat.
We're about to step into the final chapter of Leo's story, the Illusionist, who proved that deception can be a powerful tool for justice.
Last time we left off, you were describing a grand ballroom as the stage for his final act.
Yes, a ballroom filled with the city's elite, oblivious to the fact that they're about to become part of Leo's most audacious illusion yet.
A ballroom setting. I have to admit, this is unexpected. What does he have up his sleeve this time? Another disappearing act. A grand illusion that exposes the criminal right there in front of everyone.
It's even more intricate than that. He transforms the entire ballroom into an elaborate stage. But it's not just about unmasking the culprit, it's about revealing the intricate web of deceit that led to his framing.
So he's using his illusions to tell a A story that unveils the truth and forces everyone to confront it head-on.
Precisely. As the illusions unfold, the guests who came for a night of elegance and revelry find themselves witnessing a drama they never anticipated. The line between reality and fantasy blurs as Leo masterfully manipulates perceptions, revealing secrets and prompting confessions.
I can only imagine the shock and the whispers running through the crowd as the truth is unveiled.
At the center of it all stands Leo, no longer a suspect but a conductor of truth, using his illusions to weave a narrative that exposes the darkness and ultimately brings justice to light.
What a powerful image. And the detective, where is he during all of this?
The detective, fully aware of Leo's abilities and his unwavering pursuit of justice, washes in quiet admiration. He recognizes the genius and the deep-seated morality that fuel Leo's actions. He sees that the man he once pursued is, in fact, a true hero.
Quite a turnaround from their initial encounter. So after this grand finale, what becomes of Leo? Does he finally get the recognition he deserves? Or does he fade back into the shadows, his true identity remaining a secret?
That's the beauty of Leo's character. He's not driven by fame or accolades. He's a protector, a guardian, a master of secrets. For him, the reward lies in knowing that the innocent are safe and justice has been served.
So he walks away, leaving the city to marvel at the tale of the mysterious illusionist.
Exactly. He becomes an urban legend, a whisper in the wind, a story told and retold in hushed tones. Some might even question whether he was ever real or just a collective hallucination.
But he's out there, isn't he? Somewhere in the shadows, watching, waiting.
That, my friend, is the question that lingers. Is he truly gone or simply biding his time, ready to emerge when the need arises his illusions, poised to challenge those who threaten the balance?
I'd like to think he's out there. A silent guardian, always vigilant. What about the detective? Do you think their paths will cross again?
It's certainly a possibility. Perhaps they'll even work together, their unlikely alliance forged through shared experience, their perspectives forever altered by their encounters with the Master of Illusion.
That would be an incredible team. The detective with his logic, and Leo with his mastery of deception. The possibilities are endless.
The story of Leo reminds us that the world is full of wonder, mystery, and unexpected heroes, and that sometimes the line between reality and illusion is thinner than we think.
Well said, Julia. And that brings us to the end of another thrilling adventure here on the Dangers and Dragons podcast. Don't forget to rate and follow us for more captivating stories and legendary adventures.
Until next time, may your journeys be filled with wonder, your paths be safe, and may you always remember the power of a well-crafted illusion.